welcome everyone to another episode of the Leader on the Couch podcast. As you know, it's always available on video and audio version, so you can watch it on YouTube, and we will also send you the link for the audio version. Leader on the Couch is where psychology meets leadership through very real people and not just theory. In every episode, we sit down with leaders from around the world, diving deep into their challenges, their lessons learned, and what truly makes them tick. Through those, I would like to believe, candid conversations, we uncover the human side of leadership, the mindset, the struggles, any breakthroughs that shape those at the top. So today we have yet another amazing guest from beautiful Finland, Lasse Kovalainen. A very, very warm welcome. Lasse is a VP Central Region and EMEA of the pharmaceutical organization Santen. He's into sports and especially ice hockey. Hello.
Hey, Maria. Thank you for the invite. So it is true. I'm into ice hockey. Of course, since I'm from Finland, that's the natural sport. So, but any sports goes.
That's great. So could we please start with, could you tell us a bit about you, if that's okay?
Sure, with pleasure. So yes, I'm from Finland. I live also in Finland, in Helsinki, and I work for Santen. And actually, I've been working for Santen already quite a long time, more than 20 years already. It feels that time is flying, and I've been working in different positions. Started as a key account manager initially, joined from JSK, and then I worked my career through the different positions in marketing, in country management, in general management, and now most recently as the vice president for Central Region EMEA.
Wow, what an amazing journey.
It has been, really, yes.
Thank you for sharing that with us. So if we can dive in, you don't need to lie down, obviously. What's a moment in your leadership journey that felt insignificant at the time, but in hindsight, it has shaped who you are today?
Well, I think it's a little bit difficult to think those moments, but one of the moments that I was able to think just now is at the time when I started my career, I was not yet working as a team leader, but I was working as a part of a bigger sales team. We were asked to make a launch plan for our area of responsibility, and I thought that I will really dive deep into the details of the market because it was a new therapy area and I didn't know much about it. So I tried to look into the environment and not only doing the kind of a good top line plan, but really think through the different stakeholders and also the specificity of the market. I didn't think much of it at the time when I was presenting it to the team and as everyone did, but eventually it was considered to be a very good basis for all of us to work throughout the launch period. So that basically made me realize how important is the pre-planning, and so that one shouldn't really do it only with the left hand, so to say. And I think this was one of the lessons learned for me also for the career, that do your homework well enough, so the actual execution will be way more easier.
Yeah, wow, I'll remember that. Do your homework.
Yeah.
What's a belief about leadership that you have completely changed your mind about over the years?
But I think this one also takes me back to the early days. And I think it was not necessarily even throughout the years, but quite quickly in the beginning of becoming a leader. I had the kind of perception or some kind of a sense of control, that I thought that, a leader must be in control of pretty much everything. And I think that led me into focusing too much into details. And luckily, I had a senior direct report who was reporting to me. And in one of these dialogues that we had, she basically made me realize through her very transparent feedback that actually you don't need to be in control of everything, but there's a team who is basically eligible and also capable of delivering the results without me having a continuous control over everything. So I think this was a very good lesson for me, and I thought that I was very lucky to have such a direct report who quite quickly made me realize that I don't need to do everything, and I don't need to have the control over everything.
Yeah, and your example that you shared also highlights the importance of direct feedback.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's not always very easy, as we know from everyday life. And I think I was very fortunate to get this kind of experience early on when I was only taking the first steps as a leader in the organization. So I consider myself to be lucky in the sense.
Going a bit into challenges, what's a challenge you faced that you handled in a way that even surprised yourself back in the time, in that moment?
Is it okay to share perhaps a topic that is not directly work related?
Absolutely.
As an example, yeah. Because I was talking about this example with our colleagues or my colleagues, and it was actually an experience that I wish that I never had, but I did learn about it. So I was driving towards my sister's place quite a long time ago, and unfortunately there was a very severe accident on the road. There was a accident in between a regular car and a truck. So it was really a severe one. I think I was the third car on the site.
Wow.
And what surprised me in that moment is how I reacted, because I could have, potentially panicked or I could have potentially been disorganized. But instead, I started to work through the situation. And later on, when I evaluated the behavior, I thought that I was acting a little bit like a robot, and doing stuff that I was never taught. But then again, somehow subconsciously, I started to react in a certain way. And when I was thinking back then how to reflect into a business life, I think we all have a kind of a subconscious capabilities that we are not really aware of. And yet again, when we face difficulties and severe challenges in work, we can benefit out of these capabilities. And I think that, in terms of behavior, surprised me, and it's something that is an everlasting memory. But also, I think people have a lot of capabilities that they are not consciously aware of, and that can help us in business environment as well.
100%. And thank you for sharing that horrific story. And I guess I totally agree with you. We all have something, maybe some hidden potential, and these behaviors, they come out in times of crisis, and sometimes we even surprise ourselves. But I guess that if that were to happen to you again, touch wood, in a similar situation, now that you have a blueprint, you have the resources to deal with something as dramatic as that.
Very true.
So I'm still in the area of challenges and mistakes. Is there a mistake that you feel you once made, and looking back, you you're secretly glad it happened?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm glad that it happened, and I can tell you that it's not something that I've been only doing once, but multiple times, and I think it all comes down to communication. I think what comes to my mind first, actually two different areas, but if we start from giving briefs or delegation. So I've been delegating initiatives without appropriate brief, or not giving enough details on the project itself. And of course, suboptimal communication leads very easily into suboptimal outcome. And this has basically led me or educated me to concentrate a bit more into the communication and brief when there is a moment of important project to be delegated. So I think that's one. The other one that came up to my mind is the mistake of making assumptions. So I think this is also very general, so I don't think I'm unique in the sense, but it has educated me to focus into details and data. If and when I've been making assumptions based upon a gut feeling or preference, I've been learning that it is not always leading into the desired outcome, especially if I need to allocate resources for the purpose, and investments may be suboptimal and the return.
Yeah.
Communication mistakes easily happen, and I think one should always be concentrating on that. And also the mistake of making assumptions without looking into the details or data. I think those are most common ones, at least for me.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make you feel better, but the assumption is universal. So the brain constantly makes assumption because we are hardwired to make assumptions, and we have expectations. Where we and that includes me, by the way, as well. I make that mistake is we fail to communicate those. We fail to clarify, to check in. Right, I've made this assumption. Is it right? Or so we all go with our baggage of assumption biases and all that stuff. So
yeah, very true. And what has made me happy about it is that I'm more aware of it. Yeah, so I try to concentrate and put a little bit more effort on it.
Yeah,
so that I would be able to avoid those mistakes going forward.
Exactly. And I think you're doing the right thing. That's what we can all do. So, yeah. What's a leadership habit or mindset that you've had to unlearn? So to unlearn to get to where you are today. Did you have something that you had to stop doing and doing something else?
Well, I think. Good example out of that is basically we know that we easily think that productivity equals to value, and to me one of the tough lessons.
I've lost you there for a moment, Lasse. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
No, don't worry. It's well, this is live, so it happens. So what? Just the last bit of your sentence, if you can repeat, if that's okay.
Yeah. So basically what I was saying is that I think the phrase of productivity equals to value, I think that's the one bit that I've been learning the hard way. So there's so much work nowadays, and I think it was always the case on the table of all the leaders and all of the employees, that I believe that one cannot just cover everything that needs to be done. I tried to for a while, and then again it ended up to be a bit of a chaotic, so that the quality was not what I wanted it to be. And I think the lesson that I learned was that we truly need to focus nowadays. It's not even, I don't think it's enough to prioritize anymore, but you really need to pick the areas where you need to excel, and you put all the efforts on those. And then you of course need to accept that some areas might then not be covered in the way you want to. So this is perhaps the area which is hard to learn, because we tend to have the willingness to deliver a lot of results, and if we just try to handle everything, I don't think we succeed in the end. So that has been perhaps the habit that I've been trying to learn away from, focusing on the business critical items and try to do them in a way that I overperform.
Makes sense. Makes total sense. If someone were to shadow you for a week, don't worry, we're not going to do that. What would they learn about leadership that we wouldn't get from, reading a business book?
Well, I think one area would be that it's most likely a bit less glamorous than people think. So it's a lot of admin, it's a lot of travels, it's a lot of meetings, it's a lot of decisions and negotiations and discussions. So sometimes people may think that leadership is something unique and very, very special and glamorous even, and it's still regular work, like we all do, and it takes a lot of, let's say, small steps to reach the desired outcome. So sometimes it's more about not so visible acts. It's about thank yous, it's about encouragement, it's about empowerment, and less about glamorous stuff that people
definitely and I definitely agree with you on the traveling bit, spending hours in that aluminium tube.
Right.
It's
you get to hear that it's so nice that you get to travel. It's not often as fancy as someone might think.
Definitely. I don't know about you. I definitely know all the instructions of the air hostess, so I can easily do that, doors aren't and cross-check.
I think that is something that we can easily do if we are needed.
Yeah, retirement maybe.
Right.
As we approaching to the end, is there a piece of leadership advice that you hope the next generation, the people coming after us, completely ignore? Is there anything they should completely?
Yeah, at least I can think of one. There might be several, but one of the most famous one I think is fake it till you make it. And I think this is something that should not be taught in any school. Genuinity, that's I think something that people should appreciate and also endorse. I think it's okay for everyone not to know everything. So it is better to be transparent and say that, I don't know about this, but I'm going to do my very best to deliver. And it's also okay to have a stretch, because that's a great way to learn. But also doing that transparently, saying that, I will give it my very best, instead of, trying to create a perception of capability, which doesn't exist. So I think that's something that I would highly recommend for everyone to forget the sentence. So
amazing you brought that up. I don't even know where that comes from, but
Me neither. I don't know, but everyone knows it.
I would love to know who came up with it.
Yeah, me too. I don't know where it comes from, but everyone knows the sentence.
Yeah. And I agree with you. It definitely doesn't work for me anyway. It's I think I would die if I had to fake it. Wow, great.
That's the one advice, at least, that I would give. So be
It's a great
genuine,
advice.
do your best effort, but
Yeah.
also be transparent and very clear on what you know and what you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, amazing. Thank you so much, Lasse. It was really amazing to have you on board.
Thank you,
Thank you
Maria.
for sharing your stories, both the personal and the professional.
Thank you for the invite, and it was a great pleasure to have a chat and exchange ideas as usual.
Thank you. Fantastic. See you soon, Lasse. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.